Do you have a wide variety of friends? Because I do, and I think it kind of adds a little bit of spice to life. The saying, variety is the spice of life, and I think a variety of friends is what really enriches your life. And I feel like if you're stuck around the same people all the time, or the people who were born in the same town as you, and you're just staying around them and you never leave your town, there's a lack of a chance of growth for development and to really try to enrich your life and yourself. And I think that when you're stuck in a echo chamber and you're surrounded by people with similar views as yourself, it kind of becomes a you have an increased reaction to confirmation bias, like, oh, this person reacted the same way I would, therefore I agree with them on everything. And a lot of times those people will experience someone not reacting a similar way that they expect them to, and they have a harder time keeping friends, and they also have a harder time growing as individuals. And there's just a few things I wanted to talk about. I actually gathered some notes because I was curious about this, because I do not feel like a lot of people have a very wide variety of friends. I have a friend who's a mechanic and a ranch hand, and but he's really into D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, which I think is pretty funny considering he's very, very like traditional conservative type. And in that same D&D group that I was the DM for, which is the person running the game, I also had someone who was more liberal, someone you could talk to more about like your feelings, or if you're feeling insecure, they would kind of be someone to lean on. So I decided to go ahead and dive a little bit further into this, and I actually found an article from Nguyen C. Thi. Nguyen C. Thi. It's called "Escape the Echo." And one thing that Nguyen argues is that exposure to a wide variety of things, a wide variety of concepts, ideas, and beliefs, is what leads you to have stronger beliefs of your own, stronger beliefs that you hold. And that is something that I find to be personally true, because I don't feel like I really understood myself or knew myself until I started having experiences outside of my family and having experiences with a wider variety of people. Another thing was one thing Nguyen argued is that an exposure to a variety of informational sources prevents over reliance on a single perspective. So, if a person is raised as a Christian, has always been Christian, and doesn't ever come around anyone who doesn't understand, like Christian theology or Christian philosophy, it will be hard for them to explain why someone else might not have the same beliefs. And they might get unnecessarily irritated or unnecessarily aggressive about someone having the opposite beliefs because they physically cannot understand, because they've never been around someone who didn't have the same beliefs as they did. And that's something that I actually struggled with growing up. I am Christian now after digging into several different religions. I don't know what other I do. I have done a lot of research on a wide variety of religions, and I just came to the conclusion on my own that that is the one that I believe, but I would not push anyone into that belief. I would encourage if they want to ask questions about it, and I do encourage them to ask questions about it, but if they say no, I'm not going to be pushy about it. And that's just one example of how being stuck in that kind of environment can be a detriment to people being able to understand you, and people being able to understand where you're coming from, and how you think. Another concern I have when it comes to the concept of echo chambers and just repeatedly hearing the same ideas that you hold and that you believe and not hearing any other differences is it. One of the things that Nguyen said in his sources, or in his article, Escape the Echo, was echo chambers manipulate trust, isolating members by discrediting external sources. So, I knew a woman who was a flat earther, and a very, very adamant one. And anytime anyone would show her whatever evidence that they believed is true and I believe is true, she would just shake her head saying, "Oh no, they lie about everything. They don't. You can't trust them. You don't know what they're really doing, what their prerogative is." And in the meantime, I was kind of thinking to myself, what do they have to gain from this? Like, what is the gain they get from telling you that the Earth is flat or the Earth is round? Like, I don't see what the point would be to lie about it. And she got very upset because she was in an environment where she was always hearing about how that is what you should believe, and that's what she believed, and all she watched was stuff confirming that her belief was true. And that kind of mentality is what leads to cults making rash or violent or dangerous decisions, because they believe so wholeheartedly that what they think is true that they're going to do what they think they need to do no matter what the cost is. So, having a wide variety of friends doesn't only make you a more well rounded, more well adjusted person, it doesn't only open you up emotionally and allow you to really understand a wide variety of people, but it can also be damaging to be stuck in that kind of echo chamber, because you could get stuck in a cult like situation and you could be led into a sense of security and then um, asked to do terrible actions, and you will just feel in your heart and believe that that's what you need to do because it's right. And that's not necessarily the fault of the individual, it's the fault of it's a mob mentality. And the more you're exposed to that mob mentality, the less likely you're going to listen to outside sources. Thank you for listening, and you have a good one.